Hey everybody, welcome back to X's for Show. I am Nico. We are here to talk about Drag Race UK, and stick around for a little bit of Slasion Royale and the winner at the end.
And I'm TK.
I'm Jonah.
I'm Tori.
And that makes me your producer, KEVO. You can find me at KEVO Really. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment so we know what you want us to cover in the future. But we are enjoying a lot about Drag Race UK so far. Not everything.
I got to agree. I'm really a fan of these girls, and I like that I'm liking the girls more and more. So, number one, I want to open with a please raise your hand if you found out today that page 3 is Sasha Colby's drag daughter.
I don't know about that.
I'm finding out right now.
I didn't knew that.
So blew my mind, but
Yeah.
explains so much of the quality of the excellence of the construction of who the girl is. And so like I immediately feel like Paige is the girl that I got wrong the earliest. I thought that Paige maybe was a little bit harder and tougher than she really is. She's actually like a lovely girl. And I love who she's shaping up as this season. I'm so happy to say that I had her and Bones wrong. They're both lovely.
It's funny because she does have Sasha and Vivienne vibes. I walked in fully prepared that I will be the winner, and I'm just going to perform at my level of excellence, expecting that everybody will see it, and we'll see where we get. I really like Sasha and Vivienne are two examples of people, and Bianca being the third, that I think where it's like they're winning the whole time and it's fun to watch, even though it's sort of like, who else were you going to crown after? Like, what else was going to happen? I think Vivienne's season is the one where it's a little bit dubious. I think any of the final three could have won in my eyes, but it felt like she wasn't really struggling at any point. Even if she didn't win, she didn't struggle in the comp. They just would have named somebody else, but she didn't have any like really low points. Bianca really didn't have low points. Sasha really didn't have low points, but Sasha especially. It was
I don't know. Sasha was California sober, like Demi Lovato.
Yeah, that was the roughest point, but that wasn't like a bottom two, like
No, not at
how
all.
are you even alive type of situation. Paige has a lot of that same energy, but the one thing that's very interesting is she is, I think, a little bit more vulnerable in the little bit that we've seen about not necessarily winning, about not necessarily doing the best. And I think that was with Bones winning at the end of episode 3 and coming into, and love Bones.
That moment.
And super stoked to talk about Bones, who did deserve to win. But Paige having a very strong, like, I think it's great that she won and I'm totally fine. But then also having the confessional of like, I am maybe a little bummed. Like, that's a really interesting spin on being the type of character that she is on the show. And as you tell me, it really doesn't surprise me that she's Sasha's daughter.
A real Russell Crowe not winning the Oscar moment. You know what I mean?
Hopefully it doesn't go the same way for the rest of her career, but sure.
For Javert? I don't think so.
Tori, so you already had this info. By the way, Kevo, I really want to appreciate you showing that image of RuPaul showing her Couture Super Mario Brothers movie look. But so
It's
Tori,
insane.
She just literally looks like a Koopa. It's a Koopa.
It's also that stupid video with Kanye West and
And it's a
Yes.
Talking Heads video too.
she wishes it was the fucking Talking Heads video.
Tori,
Or those
so
guys from Beetlejuice.
the Bobs. Tori, you knew page 3. You've known page 3 news like it was page 6. So, and by the way, Matt Doyle, we call that 2460 fun. So, Tori, page 3, 4, 5, and 6. Take us to school because you already had the info.
Yeah, so I lurk amongst the wiki pretty often, and so they were calling from the beginning. Page 3 is a Colby, and so I've actually been watching it, being very fascinated by how she's just sort of, if you can be in the foreground, not the background, but it's the background of the foreground. If you
The Donna Lynn
know
Champlain
that?
role, I completely
it's
understand.
The
She's
mid-ground.
The kitchen table, not the kitchen counter, is where so it's been very interesting because she's got so much to do, and I think it's one of those things where I'm like, I think we have a bunch of gals who are all kind of the same type in the UK stratosphere. The UK seems to go amongst by type a lot more and have fewer types to fit you into, and so we have a couple of the gals who are just fashionistas and lip syncers and that kinds of stuff, and so I think I'll be interested to see what happens amongst all of them first.
I love that. I also love that it looks like neither group can do Wakanda Forever correctly, but that's neither here nor there. When they both walk into the room, it is something else.
Oh yeah,
it's like they just can't get it right. It's terrifying. But Jonah, you, my good man, you are the font of all Drag Race info that flows into moi. So to see that you too were kind of like, oh, missed the download, I guess I have to update Kazaa Light, really helps me to understand that there is information about these girls that no matter how big we think this platform is, it's new news to someone.
Oh, absolutely. Normally I will peruse a wiki or two similar to Tori to just kind of see what's going on, because I like the little trivia facts of like all these people, like, oh, do they have drag family that I know? Because 9 times out of 10 that'll kind of influence how I will initially perceive people, because if I like your drag family, I'm more likely to like you. And so especially if you have or if a queen has a co-signature of someone, and I'm like, oh, I have to love them because the queen I love loves them.
Yeah.
So on and so forth. I have been very much enjoying this season for the girls, but man, when I tell you, the editing this season is completely bizarre to me. It truly feels like the show is editing does not have an idea of how it's supposed to be portraying people, because especially in the episode 4, I really did not understand who was in the top, who was in the bottom, and then they would announce the bottoms.
Same.
I was extremely confused because the show is not really making things clear. I don't know if they're trying to do something a la Dragula, where Dragula will always give the contestants the best floor show that they can edit and show because they want to show their performers in the best light possible. And then they'll talk about things, and sometimes that can have its own problems of, hey, someone fell during a performance and this was this part of it, whatever. Here, the show doesn't really know what it's doing. I was really confused. I was like, is Celexa in the top? Is she in the bottom? Is Neon Bella in the top or the bottom? Wait, why is she in the bottom? They laughed and enjoyed her performance. Everything about it was just weird and bizarre. I had no idea if Sally was in the top or the bottom. Everything was very wishy-washy. Nothing seemed to make sense. And oh, please go.
It's a multi-pronged problem. The editing, you're absolutely right, is weird. The judging is really weird. It keeps being a thing during the judging where the critiques are an insane mix of positive and negative, and it's not clear where anybody is really falling. And then on top of that, this has the same problem that many Drag Race franchises have, where somebody was talking about how Mama Pao and Manila Luzon should switch Philippine drag shows that they're on just because of the nature of the shows. And was talking about also how Valentina had to exit Mexico because her Spanish is such that she doesn't get the jokes. Rue does not understand British humor, and constantly has shown that she doesn't.
RuPaul never lets having a lack of information stop her from doing anything.
It's really true. And you gotta, in a lot of ways, you really do have to respect it, but at the same time, as a viewer watching individual episodes. So there will be times where she doesn't laugh at something that is clearly funny to people who understand British humor. And then there are episodes like this one where they just put the Rue laugh track on for the entire presentation of the videos with no... I truly believe that she was in a studio separately at a different time just laughing, and they just... Again, I think it was a Rue laugh track. I don't think it was a full reaction. to me, only the third one was funny. Only Nyang Bella, Katrin, and Bones. Was that who it was?
Chai Tea.
Thank you.
I agree. I did enjoy that group as
that
well.
That was the only one I laughed at. That was the only one I understood. I thought it was super funny. Everything that they said was like going on too long, like with the ohs. That was one of the things that was funniest to me. It was the one that came together the most, that I understood anything that was happening. And for it to be laughed at because of the Rue laugh track in the exact same way as all of the other ones, I just had no measurement for what was going on. I didn't think Nyang Bella was in the top, but I thought she was completely safe. Like, I didn't think there was any doubt in my mind that she was safe until she was in the bottom. And I thought these two probably should have, to me, they should have been in the top. I thought it was the best.
I thought Chai Tea was great too. I'm so glad we're on the same page.
Yeah, this was the only one I laughed at. The other ones I thought, and you know, in particular, I thought the first one was really just, they were all poorly written too. Like, none of this is the girl's fault. This is not great material, but just like inscrutable stuff going on. And again, maybe it's me not getting British humor, but I know Rue doesn't get it either. So I know those laughs were not because she was amused.
Jonah, you had a look. You were ready. You were keyed up.
I am a Neon Bella defender. I think this is a queen who oozes charisma.
Yes.
And I think Neon Bella departing third, I really hope is not going to be the trend of the show going forward, because I think she is somebody who oozes charisma and is really good TV and is enjoyable to watch, but she's operating under a budget that's not quite the same as someone, say, like Bones or Page 3. And it's not exactly fair to fully compare someone who has the networking and the skills consistently, but she's not doing bad in any of these challenges. I mean, saying to RuPaul, "KK, bye," was like
great exit.
Legend.
I have like, the show just lost like the funniest person there. What are we gonna do? What are we watching next week? I'm not even trying to like, I'm being hyperbolic, not shady to the other girls, because the other girls are very entertaining. It is just, the show used to reward people who had the star power and the charisma and didn't always operate on the same budget. You look at season 5 or 6, you look at Jinx, you look at Adore, whose budgets were not the same as their competitors, but they still made it far because they knew what they were doing and they were stars and entertainers. I see Neon Bella as a star and entertainer. I think she can come back and demolish a versus the world. But I don't know, like, I'm also of the mindset both her bottom placements were not deserved. There were other people worse than her.
Yeah.
Each week. I'm not even,
I feel
she's
like
great, and judges are lying to me.
Hit me, Kevo.
I feel like she is sort of the opposite of what we saw this last season of the main show for Lydia B. Collins. I feel like the only thing that was ever really holding Nyang Bella back is that she's just very young, and I think that she just needs to grow more the way that, like, you know, anyone does. And I think that she is going to kill it in a versus the world or an all stars. I think that this drag especially showed to me a level of thought that so many of the other girls didn't put into this challenge, being absolutely fabulous. Everyone wants to be Patsy, obviously. The fact that she was sacked and that she did it so well, I feel like, you know, they longer. I think I'm really whenever she doesn't.
Now, I feel like one of the things that is so important is that the thing that we're all talking about is there's no way for every girl to show her ability all the way through. It is definitely a bit of a bummer that she is gone already. And I really hope that she does get to come back in another season in something else, because she is great.
She's also, I think she would kill on a not just a Versus the World, but a Work the World tour. Like she can, I mean, her lip syncs, she can do a number. And Jonah brought up Adore and Jinx. There really is a weird like thing that I think we don't talk about on Drag Race anymore because we expect everybody. And Mohart was just on something in an interview talking about this, how you really have to come with a brand that is so fully realized that you basically have to be more professional and branded than a lot of girls were after Drag Race before you even get on Drag Race now. And so if you are a little bit unpolished, but you are just absolutely a fucking star, it is really difficult to be on this show in this day and age. And that used to be like a thing where, and early on, it was a thing that I talked about with her in the first episode, like in her first couple episodes, where I said that I really wish that they hadn't aired her saying that, she doesn't dance, she doesn't sing, she doesn't act, because I think it undersold her as an entertainer and as a star and as a thing that like just sometimes drag queens are, which is just an amazing stage presence that then builds into an entire fucking thing. And I just... yeah, she's one that I will really miss, period. But then on top of that, I'm so confused by what this show is doing.
And the one small thing I want to point out, because KEVO was talking about, her dressing as Safi, going a different direction. It's not even that. It's she threw glitter on that look. I could imagine this might be something she thrifted or found somewhere. And she was like, I'm going on Drag Race. I'm going to glitter the hell out of this. It's going to shine on stage. Like, she has the thought process there, and she will be missed. And it was... I'm not as familiar with AbFab. I'm aware of it culturally. I know who, like, Joanna Lumley is. I kind of get it. I understand that it's, a very popular show, has a big queer audience, blah, 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 whatever. But I don't know if these skits, and I'm calling them skits, did the work to like bridge that gap. Is AbFab like... AbFab
has nothing to do with the skit. The skits were like a naughty romance novel things. AbFab is about is a comedy about fashion, about two women in fashion.
Okay, that's where I got confused. I thought they would because that's what Rue said, and then because they were talking about AbFab, I think my wires got crossed.
Yeah,
thinking it was going to be an AbFab challenge.
Yeah,
okay.
Which I think they could and should have done. It should have been both. Like they could have done AbFab sketches, like AbFab scenes, for comedy, and it would have made for better, easier comedy. And then they could have done this runway. Like you're not wrong for thinking that. It just really was two completely disparate subjects.
Tori, do you AbFab? Is that a thing you thing? Do you think AbFab thinging?
I have not AbFabbed, but I have been around people for whom it is a big part of their personality. So I am also like culturally aware of the characters. So yeah, I too was a little confused by the acting scenes because of how much we were talking about AbFab, and it sort of felt in the same kind of vibe of what they were kind of looking for with these things. I was a little confused by a lot of things, but I think where a lot of my confusion has been in is that it feels like the editing that is happening is, I'm not confused by the bottoms based on the editing that I have seen, but the editing I have seen is also showing me that it is telling me a tale, because right slightly out of frame is the actual tale that's happening. And that's where I've been living. I'm watching lip syncs where I'm like, oh, someone is doing excellent, and the camera is trying to convince me that the other person is doing better. And that's how I felt about the editing on the thing. So,
and it's also kind of how I felt about the general take on some of the performances in the the pop number as well, like the angles, the way it was cut. I do just want to say it's so great to see you, Young Bella. We love you so much. We are such big fans.
Great job.
The hell out of you.
We just can't wait for your Verse the World or All Stars run.
Yes, you're gonna dominate.
Tour America, we'll come find you.
Seriously, right? I would really love something called like Second Chance Queens, where queens who did not get enough of a chance in their version get to come to the American version, which, just because of the fact that the American is watched by a little bit larger of an audience, I would love queens to get that kind of exposure. But this is such a talented season, and like, you know, it's not like you're losing anybody untalented ever, but it did hurt a little extra this week. It was not KK bye for the rest of us.
No.
And that's not even talking about last week's challenge, where again, I'm Bella. I thought you did so well. I
thought you did great.
Yeah, I had so much stage presence in that song and like performed so well. And I thought the look on the runway was like a perfect meld of like cuddly and chic. I don't know. I did not get where the judges were coming from at all. It's funny, Nico and I both had the same critique about this song, which is that I didn't feel like it was a hyper pop. I thought it was a like pretty okay pop song, like totally a serviceable pop song. But like it wasn't giving me hyper pop, and that's fine. It didn't really need to, although they just kept talking about it as that for the challenge. But it's really difficult when both teams do the same song for girls to stand out, and Nyan Bella was one of the ones that just stood out to me. So I don't know. I mean, like this was another tough one for me to reconcile my experience of the thing of what I was seeing with what the judges then critiqued.
Oh, I also wish they did a small favor for the girls by giving them slightly different versions of the songs.
Please.
My favorite thing that they did on UK was UK 3, and they gave them a ballad and they gave a pop number.
Yep.
And it actually helped really differentiate things. And I wish that they helped do that with them again. Also, I don't know what was on their list. But some of the runways were like out there.
Yeah.
And like Cuddly Wuddly was like, yo, Bella, we are just as confused as you are. You were there, and we're like, we had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
No, we don't believe the lies. The fairy tales, lies of Nelly. But like, Cuddly Wuddly, it was like a weird runway. I don't know if it was meant to be like. Some people went like stuffed animal-esque, which was a good idea. Some went like fur. I don't know if it was like meant to be fuzzy. I don't know.
I mean, I liked it because I got passive aggressive in the description about it because I couldn't figure it out.
I liked it. To my mind, I liked it because it can be interpreted a lot of different, and this group right here interprets it in a lot of great ways. But every time that happens on this show, that's an excuse for the judges to look at something that is perfectly good and has an element of cuddliness to it and then say, here's what's wrong with it. And you go, okay, but that makes no sense because this still looks amazing. And the prompt is so broad, it could be anything. Unfortunately, I really hate to say it because I love her. I think she's very cool. And I do really think this is a cool look. I think Viola was the person I felt did get the correct critique. Because while I do think this is really cool, and I saw a fantastic Instagram video of how it was made and the people behind it. Also, there was a thing about how she was told not to mention Five Nights at Freddy's, but then Tayrus mentioned.
I just want to, and I just
go for it.
From a perspective of copyright and ownership law, someone else can comment and say, "I see similarities between your look and another thing," but you yourself cannot say, "I am lifting someone else's ideas."
Yeah.
So it's that people are kind of coming at that about production. No, they're protecting her. That is one of the things where production is actually looking out for Viola.
And I'm not coming for anything. I'm just saying, like, I hear the confusion there. I hear that that's all part of the package of like what went on. But I do think I mean, like, this is a really cool setup. And the embellishment of the Five Nights at Freddy's mascots idea is really cool. Rhinestoning it is really cool. But then there's nothing about the fit or the general look of it that feels draggy to me. It just feels like a really, really amazing Halloween costume. Like one that I would go insane for.
She looks dragged down the road.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
There's some drag to it.
When she mentioned the drag queen inside, the problem is we don't
Yeah.
see of that. That's
There
what
was-
it is.
And
Too
unfortunately,
much
she did
hair.
not have a good after a long night of hooking monologue to maybe sell it a little bit more. Also, I just thought she maybe even could have gotten away with it with some really obvious good-looking heels.
Yeah.
No matter what,
Yes.
she kept the mask on. She pulled a Valentina. I couldn't see her mouth. Why would I mean? Beyond the fact that I did think that young Bella was able to move a little bit more beautifully in her look,
Yeah.
I couldn't read her mouth. Jonah, we literally we went hog on that. Like it's a 7-word
Okay.
chorus, girl.
So I'm of a couple of minds. I love this is where her brain went. I love the reference. I love the idea. If it was like in October, I go to the club and I see her performing in this, I'm going buck wild because I'm gonna think it's amazing.
Yep.
However, and I have seen people drawing criticisms of saying, what is a problem with this look? And the most common one people are throwing is Simone's look from the Beast Runway. Difference being,
Yeah.
Simone's look not only had a specific shape she was going for, she threw more clothes on top of it. And so it feels like a drag furry character as opposed to I'm doing Five Nights at Freddy's drag. I think had she been able to show a shape a little bit more and threw something on top of it, it would feel and read more as a drag look as opposed to a drag costume. I feel really bad for Viola because it felt like the show just was a little unkind to her. It just really felt like the judges did not vibe with her and like could not wait to get rid of her. I hope she doesn't feel discouraged or feel bad. The fact she even made it on the show at 22 is incredible. And like I feel bad that they're doing the talent show later, so like she couldn't, get to actually pay the Viola. It is what it is. Tori, first of all, I need to know, Tori, how familiar are you with Five Nights at Freddy's? And how soon can I explain the entire lore to you? And number two, what do you feel? How do you feel about
Which will definitely help with
costuming?
Viola's costume, by the way.
What's the second half? How do I feel about?
Costume stuff? You are much more theater to me. I know you resonate a lot more with theater queens and sort of the campy nature of stuff. And so I want to know your opinion of, was that too far in a camp?
I think for me, I think that it really does come down to that I didn't feel like it was a dragified version of what was going on. I think that as someone who is aware of Five Nights at Freddy's as an idea, but has not yet watched it, that was not my first thought. I was like, oh yes, a Teddy Ruxpin that's been through a few things. Got it. Move, sure. And so, but I think it was a really great piece. It was a moment where I looked at it and I was like, this is, you could, if it could go, what, I think this is it's the fork in the road. This costume is the perfect fork in the road. It's halfway to your journey and you can either take it super glam where it belongs on RuPaul's Drag Race, or you can take it super scary where it belongs over on Dragula. And I think that she paused and said it's done before picking one. And I think that's what they were responding to.
I quickly want to mention, this is for the Dragula Ghouls. In season 2, they had a challenge where they were tasked to make alien looks. They were
Oh my God.
aliens. And this was season 2, and Fright Night horror Halloween girl herself, Victoria Black, made this incredible costume that was like an actual alien, like it had a glow and everything. She did not win the challenge even, and I remember so many people banging pots and pans and clamoring, why didn't she win? And part of it is she just made the alien outfit. Like the Boulay brothers were joking, like she didn't even throw like a lash on. Like just do something to tie it back into drag. So I really hear what you're saying of like tie it into drag. She glittered it. It's a very draggy look, but like
Yes.
let's tie it back into the concept of drag.
Yes, and I could see this being like in like a variety show, like a Halloween variety show that's campy and fun and less horror. But I'm not necessarily thinking of drag immediately when I see it.
And I just want to say, speaking of Dragula, I don't mean to be a guy who plays favorites, but if you are excited about this incredible Hocus Pocus show that's going around with Saphira and
Ginger, Jujubee, and
I couldn't remember Jujubee. I was like, oh, I feel so bad because I feel like Jujubee isn't maybe the girl who's best known for being a musical theater queen, but I'm really excited to see her stepping into that role. However, I just want to say that Land Insider, my drag king, king of all drag kings, the drag king who inspired me to get on a stage for the first time in 5 years, is on that tour as well. Is just one of the most unbelievably talented people in the history of these franchises, and that we're starting to see that crossover. You know, I don't know if I brought this up on air this month, but I will once a month until everyone remembers her name. Madeline Hatter is Olivia Lux's drag mom, you guys. And so Olivia Lux walks, guys. So I just want to say, one of the things that I find the most exciting is the opportunity to talk about multiple shows, multiple talents, and this incredible world of girls, whether it's in the UK, bringing the theater experience, or, you know, it's really interesting that Rue sent home someone in a Five Nights at Freddy's costume when current reigning winner, Anya Nerve, was very clear that she is not interested in your video game antics in her Meet the Queens. And so I just wonder what Michelle has to say about that. Michelle being a good gamer gal herself, it's really kind of funny to me. But I also just want to say that there's a number of people here who actually did draw from some unbelievable places, some unbelievable stories. Sally's look, so good. Tayrus's look, not my favorite, but I thought, I don't know, there's something about the way Tayrus sells everything. I feel like Tayrus's narrative is uniquely proud of her look, of her package. And when I think about people who are proud of their package no matter what you think, I think about Jinx, I think about Pearl, I think about these defiant, strong personalities. And what's so fascinating is Tayrus manages to do it all with like a sense of humility that I don't often see in people that talented. And so, like, I love where she's at. I don't love all of the looks she's brought, but no matter what, when she walks them, I feel good about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think this has been a pretty strong group overall for runway looks, and it's been to me, looking at the looks, it has been a strong series of runways. Again, Cuddly Wuddly is such a good example because I think that's a great idea, and I had fun looking at those. And I had critiques. Again, I think as we're talking about, like, drag is so elevated when you come on this show. And I did like that early on, Rue did give us one of those, like, you are all so good, we have to nitpick. I really think that message needs to come up more, because sometimes everything is just so good that to talk about it like, oh, this isn't that great, when it's really like, you know, you just have 1 point off and the girl next to you doesn't have a point off, and that puts you at different numbers. Like, that's an okay thing, and it really celebrates everybody for doing great. So I loved Cuddly Wuddly, but again, I just thought the judging on it was such a nebulous category that they could judge and be like, well, you didn't do what the prompt said. Absolutely, you fucking did. And then AbFab, I thought was so perfect, because it's so British. It's something that everybody will kind of know culturally, but then because the entire point of it is that it's fashion comedy, it is like the perfect runway prompt. And I think we got really, really cool looks. Even though Select's Addiction did get some harsh critiques for hers, again, I thought it was a little bit unfair, because I thought it was a really, really good look. They just had to nitpick because everybody's were really good. I thought Katrin's was absolutely perfect. I love Neon Bella's, and I love that she was the only person that referenced Safi, who's such an important part of the humor of that show. I mean, this was just such a perfect runway for a country's drag race and like to like bring a product from a country, put it on the runway. I don't know. I was so incredibly stoked about this, and I think it worked out phenomenally well. Matthew Doyle, can someone explain Sally's? I have a lot of AbFab knowledge, and I simply cannot explain Sally's.
The way that they were talking about it, it sounded like it was like an interpretation of a look that one of them had worn for a show.
Yeah, I was thinking it might have been a reference to like a specific episode that I'm just not remembering, or like maybe like
one of those things where she's like in a specific sweater at one point and they go for it.
I thought she was the one person's jewelry, and I thought it was an outfit, they said.
This is very possible. I mean, sorry, go ahead.
This is why I feel like the theme of this season is sort of miscommunication, and it's a lot of like what we're talking about, where Rue, she wants to understand British humor and she loves panto, and I think because like there were like Dynasty-esque shows in the UK that were similar but different from ours, and I think that's what Rue was hoping to copy with Mother Tuckers. And we aren't of the wrong generation to still know AbFab, but it really shows how dated some of her references are becoming, that no, we also don't all know it. So I think it's strange, it's like if they were specific episodes from Friends or Will and Grace. Those are great, but it's harder for those to translate, even if they are something we're familiar with, let alone translating across continents.
And like Bonnie Ann really lucked out, because as Nyan Bella says here, Sally's is based on a look but very dragified. I don't know why they didn't include the reference pictures or a monologue. Like Sally came out on the runway and then said specifically, this is the thing I'm referencing. And I actually did remember that episode and the Thursday, like she lucked out in that it was a much clearer reference. I didn't know Sally's, and then I know that they were speaking about it at some point, but I did have to go up and get some chips at one point while watching, and I think I just happened to miss it. And
the reason why there's there's never a reference picture for something, it's usually because the show is a little more budget savvy and doesn't want to show it, because
they're not paying for those rights
in BBC, so they're not going to pay for the rights to air the photo. But I think here really should have just done it. I think it was needed.
The value proposition on having the stock photos is night and day. I want to take a couple of minutes just as we kind of wrap down our UK love for the evening to say there are so many unbelievably talented queens that are just not necessarily getting all of their flowers yet. I loved seeing Bonnie Ann Clyde get hers. I'm kind of, living for where Paige isn't cast as the second place. There's something kind of like weird where I feel like Paige is getting like she's getting the antagonist, the antagonizing kind of production where like they're dangling that carrot and it's just not very kind. I think that this is Chai T is one of those girls that like her heart is so in it, and it's just not the challenge for her. So I feel like every girl this season, it's just what you were saying, TK. Every girl has the possibility of doing well. There is no one here who is like the also ran. But this is then such a high stage. I'm certainly not coming for any edition I've watched, but it is very nice feeling this conflicted early on in the season when I don't have that relationship with goddamn first halves of American seasons. I do not have the same difficulty, and very frankly, to not be rude, I'm not that often wrong if you go back and watch our Meet the Queens. So it's really cool that there's no shot at making those guesses here because everyone's fucking AbFab. So TK, talk to me about the girls you just want to make sure get that bat signal right on them. Go full Commissioner Gordon.
I mean, I really am not saying this because she's watching the show, but Nyang Bella was was the person that I was like, this is just who I want to watch.
Go back and watch the first episode. You said this.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just like
Yeah.
there is a certain type of girl that comes on this show that I just vibe with. And I don't ever want them to, I always want them to succeed, but then I do have the interesting thing of when they go, I have to like completely reconfigure my brain and start rooting for somebody else and like actually I haven't really done that. I actually I feel bad. I came down pretty hard on Katrin Feelings right from the get-go. I think not on this show, but on my own personal social media a little bit.
TK accidental on Blue Sky.
Don't go read those, Katrin. I'm sorry. Maybe I just didn't get it at first. It really, their skit being the only one I thought was like, I not only did I like think it was the only one that was good, like I actually really enjoyed it. The other ones and again, most of that wasn't the girl's fault. It was that whatever the writing was, I didn't get it. Again, I'm not British. I don't know all British humor, but that one I thought was just universally funny. And I thought that Katrin and Chai T and Nyang Bella were all really, really great. So immediately, and then I love Katrin's AbFab look. So now my eyes are sort of immediately on her. Bones obviously has been doing really fantastic and is, I think really gunning for it. Paige, I'm really again, like there's a narrative around the type of character that Paige is on this show, and
rock seeing her.
Yeah, whether or not I don't know that I'm super invested in the journey right now, me personally, just cause like not for anything that she has done wrong or like that I'm not rooting for her, but now I'm just kind of wanting to see what the show does with this character thing that they've presented and this idea of like, she's a winner, baby. So where is her win on this show? It's always interesting to see where that goes. And now I'm just looking with the utmost trepidation at the talent show on the horizon.
Tori, when I think about talent, when I think about shows, and when I think about people who I want to hear voice their opinion, girl, you come to mind. But one of the things that also really elevates this for me, you, by being a fan of such conviction and you go to the mat for the girls you love, I would love to know who's standing out for you in this particular lineup. Who here has your attention? Because you called it with Lavoie. As you were going through the seasons and catching up, you called a number of winners or top 3 placements. I would love to know who's really got your eye here.
It's really interesting because I feel like the show is trying to lead me down one path of what my opinion should be, and I'm fighting it a little bit. I'm really enjoying what Katrin Feelings is up to. I think the judges really like her. I'll be interested to see what happens when the judges don't like what she brings to the table or get disappointed by her in something. I'm really hoping she has a quite good snatch game, or else that might be a bit of a problem. I'm really excited for Bonnie and Clyde, but that's a personal, gotta let the Irish ones, especially our first one from the Republic of.
No, Tori, I don't want anybody to shut up your troubles. You sing this as long as you want.
Yeah. So, but I think. I'm keeping kind of an eye on Ella Vosk. I feel like she has like 3rd, 4th energy finalist kind of to her, where it's not that she's riding under the radar. It's just that she's doing well and not causing drama with anyone. And so she's just allowed to do well without chatter. And then, I don't know, the Sally Bones page 3 trio, something's going to come out of there, but I just don't know which one yet.
First of all, Sally Bones is my new drag name. It is and my whole look is going to be based on Sally and Jack's child from The Nightmare Before Christmas. But beyond that, I'm so grateful for your perspective. You really do, as a woman, you really do elevate our conversation, because we are 4 very happy big ol' homo men, and to think that there is only that in drag is such a problem. And I only wish that we were able to open our doors and find more contributors. So if you are out there and you feel your voice is underrepresented in Drag Race fandom, reach out. Let us know what's up, because honestly, our show was never better than when Tori made us smarter. So, but speaking of so smart, I just absolutely want to suffocate him with a calculator. One of my questions for you, Jonah, is specifically, what is it about UK that you have always been so attached to? You love this brand, the way I love Down Under, and I would love to know what girl is really supporting that vision for you right now.
So what I fell in love with, starting from UK season 1, even till now to UK season 7, what I loved about UK drag is that UK drag was always about performance, cabaret, camp. It was a lot more about the sort of, you're given a stage mic, go, you have 2 hours, fill it kind of mentality. And that's the sort of drag mentality and the drag cooking pot I enjoy, and seeing how that creates queens. I love fashion. I love looking at people like step down a runway. They know how to walk. I love seeing beautiful drag and beautiful drag aesthetics. But as I've grown older, I enjoy people who can entertain me. Like, it's great that if you look lovely, but if I'm gonna watch and pay for like an hour and a half show of yours, I want to like be entertained from minute 0 to minute an hour 35. And so I think that because the UK queens grow up in that sort of more environment traditionally, or at least that's how it was. And I think as the show is popularized, as the US show is popularized, we do see a lot more girls who are a lot more dancey, a lot more able to kind of go toe to toe with the sort of Americanized drag that we showcase on the US show. So I absolutely love just seeing a lot more of the charm and a lot of the charisma. I think UK has always been the show of charisma, uniqueness, and urban talent, where charisma has always been their strongest element. I always think the UK girls are always so charming. So and this batch, these lovely batch and divas, are no shortage. I'm gonna give a shout out to Tayrus. I think Tayrus is extremely charming. I think she's doing great. I very much appreciate her opening up about her own story. It was very heartbreaking. I hope she's doing well. It's a lot imagining what someone can go through, and to see someone be such a light, such a beautiful, fun time. Like, I feel like every time they cut to her in the confessional, she's just always laughing, having a great time. I think she's
gross, but she is so ridiculously hot out of drag.
She's also very beautiful outside of drag too. That does it very easy on the eyes.
Oh, right, that's percolating too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
yeah, Tayrus and Katrin.
Oh yeah, we're having a showmanship. We'll see how I feel about it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna kiss. I don't want to hear about it.
Exactly.
I love Brooke. It's a big thing.
But Jonah, that's sort of what I was feeling. Like, I feel like the show is pointing me away from Tayrus and Chai right now, and I don't love that, because it also feels like they are very good queens.
Yes, if I could pull in NICO and slightly also give a second answer to this.
Always.
I feel so bad for Chai, because it feels like the judges kind of dog her a little bit, similar to how like they were dogging Neon Bella. Like, Chai is not doing nearly as bad as they're making it out to seem. Like, she really wasn't that bad in the girl group challenge, and she really was not bad here. So I'm a little confused why she's been in the bottom these past few weeks. I don't think she's doing anywhere near what they're trying to tell me. And I think it is all culminating to the show not really knowing what they're doing, that if there's confusion on set, they clearly don't know what to do with the editing, and it's resulting in this confused narrative that I don't think they don't quite know what to do. And I feel bad, because I'm very much enjoying these girls and I want them to have a good, successful season.
You know, speaking of good, successful seasons, I think about the journey that like Kyron went on last year, and there was a confidence that eased in the middle and then picked back up at the end. And I'm kind of hoping for that for Bones and Paige. But KEVO, you are someone who is drawn to maybe subtler personalities. You're someone who loves to appreciate and clap for the biggest, loudest person, but you like to also quietly champion somebody who's a little bit more understated, like Chai, like Neong Bella, or Celexa, who is I don't know how Celexa does not play like a businessman in every Broadway show. Like, he is that guy who's in the pinstripe suit doing the high kicks and Damn Yankees. Like, so classic looking, looks.
You're not wrong. You're
right?
not wrong.
I mean, first of all, this Damn Yankees revival is everything I'm thinking about. But if I'm right, thank you.
He looks like Bucky from the Zombies movies out of drag.
Oh my God, yes. But Kevo, it's not just about how beautiful Celexa is, and he is. It's about the incredible dolls like Neong Bella. It's about the unbelievable talents like Bones and Paige. It's about the people who have not yet figured out how they want to be on stage like Chai. Kevo, who's really appealing to you right now?
To round this out with another cheer of we were all really rooting for Neong Bella, so this
we really were as an entire team. This was devastating.
And so, I really loved what TK said, and it is such an element of watching this program, and it's like sports. Go Birds, but it's not been great for them, but that's sports. And when your girl that you were rooting for, that you thought was doing great, goes home early, you need to recalibrate. I really appreciate her dropping by our chat and me getting to say, I love that she chose Sappy for her drag, and I think it showed such a different perspective, and it's one that I will miss from this season. But then there's Sally's weird take on a look from the original program. Everyone did really great this challenge, and everyone has been really exciting so far. So it's just gonna take a minute to really recalibrate my brain and think about who am I going to be focusing on next, other than, like we already said, thinking Celexa is so pretty.
Except for Sally's Bonanza look, I'd not like that.
No. All right. I'm gonna say thank you guys so much to the UK. I can't wait to come back, and we'll definitely close out with some final UK thoughts, because we're gonna be covering that all season. I would love to take a couple of minutes and just say, hell yes, Slasian Royale, one of the best seasons of Drag Race I have ever gotten to watch, bar none. Unfortunately, not my favorite Rusical, but this season had 4 finalists. This was like Earth, Air, Fire, Water. This was 4 people who painted such a complete picture of excellence, that painted 4 different quadrants. I want to just take a moment and say I am so sad my beautiful Arizona Brandy did not get to dance in the finals. I think that she is, and I have some opinions that I think that maybe her level of humor and the way she presents her humor comes off very American Mall, and that is very I really love the idea of the MoMA being inside the American Dream Mall. Like, I just think that there's this idea of creating neon high culture. Arizona Brandy was that for me, but all 4 of these finalists were brilliant, and I am so proud of Brig. She just earned it so well. Suki's bravery in who she is and choosing to show such a traditional performance was stunning. And honestly, Venus had one of the most beautiful transformations throughout the entire season. TK, I would love to know how you felt about this Final 4 and where you're at on this season. I'm just elated that we got to cover it together as a group.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm super stoked. And like the thing that I always say about Drag Race as a World of Wonder as a company, Drag Race as a brand with like a lot of sub brands, is like more diverse products, please. And that's why I'm like, do a show that is just a pageant show. Do a show that is just pulling on comedy queens and who can be the best comedy queen. I really like a second chances rather than an all stars. because I think All Stars should be like, you made it really close and now come back on and see if you can finish. But I would love if all, first, second, third outs were coming back in to get another chance as well. There's just so many different products that I think you can make with this show. And I think saying like, we are just having Asian contestants from around the world. Like, this is not a traditional versus the world. This is not a traditional All-Stars. This is something a little bit different, but I think it makes all the difference in the world, because it is really about, please come on and celebrate a shared cultural identity, but then a diversity of cultural identities under that shared umbrella. And what an amazing thing that drag allows you to do that. And so it was fantastic. It was a fantastic idea for a show from the get-go. I love that it looks like we're getting Latino Royale, because again, same thing, like just, a bunch of a bunch of different nations and drag races that share a common touchstone, but then are vastly different. And so I think it's super cool. This was a fantastic top 4, a really great talent showcase. I love that almost everybody except my darling Venus really brought like a full talent. Like, I really wanted to make every American girl watch it and be like, when they say talent show, you have to do this. You have to at least be able to do choreography. You have to do something that is a little bit more of a thing. Even Brigading just pulled out a fucking flag and did a little bit of flag ballet. When I say talent show, I just want you to do something like that. Just get a couple flags and do a little flag ballet, or be Suki Doll and change my life with this like performance art, celebration of motherhood and Cambodian culture. Raja gave us something very similar to that when she was on All Stars. It's just so amazing when people get to share their culture and to make that part of a talent show. Then again, if your culture is like, I grew up in Arkansas, that's okay. I'll take your performance art piece about.
I was literally going to say thank you so much, because like literally the way you taught me about Portland changed my life.
Yeah, like I would, if I was going to do drag race, like I'm not talent. Like, I don't have a talent. I can't think of a thing. I'm not going to baton or anything like that. But I would absolutely do a
you monologue better than like 99% of people.
Yeah, I mean, like, but yeah, sure. And like, actually, maybe that that could be one. But like, I would do a Suki Doll-esque celebration of the town where I have spent most of my time. Which is Portland, Maine. Like, what's our culture? I could get into it in something like that. But at least I'm presenting something for a talent show other than a song that I'm two-stepping to, that I'm lip-syncing to. That's a great song. I might really enjoy it, but I also want that in a separate challenge. That's the song challenge. Talent show is a talent show. It can be talent show. And I love that was the final 4. I wish Venus had a little bit more besides breaking the bottles, though I did like that. Give me a show, girl. I love it. Her voice is amazing. Like, singing is a talent, and if she were singing live, I would have been really, really into it. Maybe she was. I'm not quite sure on that one. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I really did just love this. And the thing that you said to me as soon as I started watching it was Arizona's shirt. And I hear what you're talking about there. That kind of like, it's
so me. It's so me. I could
cry. And again, it's a transcending, like, you guys are very culturally distant. And yet, like, certain aesthetics are global, and the show was able to give us that as well. Absolutely amazing. I didn't care who won. I would have been happy if absolutely anybody won. I thought it was a great top 4. I was so happy to see all of them, and super happy for Brigading. I think all of them deserved it equally. So I was, just in general, what a great celebration, and what proof of truly how much drag can do. It is so much more than we think about when we're just in our bars having a great time, which is amazing and elevates our own lives. But like, look at how much else it can give us and how it can allow us to share culture and heritage and so many things.
I love that so much, and Kevo, thank you so much for pulling up Arizona Brandy's unbelievable logo shirt. It is so definitive of what makes drag culture unique, because that could say New York City, Newark, New Jersey, Greenwich, Connecticut, Boston, and Portland, and it would represent that Northeast drag aesthetic. Tori, you are an artist who has experienced art in, I think, every state of the country or close. You have lived on the road. You have been these girls from behind the scenes. And so to see something like Slasian Royale bring together the diaspora of a geographic region, how did this finale sit with you? Your value proposition on this was taking multiple finalists from seasons where they weren't finalists and making them more. How did you feel?
I think this was one of the finales that I've been looking most forward to over the year. I think this was the one where I was like, I'm not really sure where it's gonna go. I'm like at least 80% sure where it's gonna go. But I really enjoyed the gals. I've sort of been asking us to not do a lip sync matchup to the crown kind of thing. And we sort of basically got that. We got a ball, we got a talent show, and then we ducked it down to 2, had them prance around a little bit, and then picked one. And I really liked it. I think it was awkwardly paced at points.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit obvious to me about halfway through the walkthrough of the gals in the beginning that they had not returned for a finale, that those were shot as they were eliminated. It feels like, based on the fact that it was a complete and total voiceover and all the gals were looking pleasantly unhappy. So but I think it was so lovely to have Marina Summers there. I think having Nymphia win there really elevates it on the global stage for the American crowd that's watching. I think these gals came to kill with their finale sets. It was a really excellent finale, and I'm sad that we didn't get any of the behind the scenes of the gals, unfortunately.
I completely agree. An Untucked, for all of these fabulous international seasons, would only seek to elevate the art of drag. However, I do want to take a moment to get kind of serious and kind of sad. For all of the beauty of these looks, like the chocobo feather Vivi look that Venus walked down in, which was like literally the coolest thing I've ever seen. She looked like a yellow feathered black mage. Jonah, you and I both could barely get our breath when Mama Pao, my absolute favorite international host, took a moment to recognize Jiggly Caliente, who, I talked a lot about loving people who got a second chance in getting to love Utica so much on Project Runway this year, and how much I was so happy that VJ got to have a second season and the third season. You had a very positive relationship with Jiggly, especially when I started watching Drag Race. How did this finale feel to you? How were the girls, and how was the tribute to Jiggly for you?
Well, I love the tribute to Jiggly. So Drag Race Season 4 was the first season I had ever watched. And I just remember being so enamored and charmed by Miss Jiggly Caliente. And I just remember looking at her and just watching her perform and being like, damn, she knows how to work a stage. That's crazy. She's incredible. She's going to be dearly missed. You can tell how much she means to the show and how much she meant to the show, to the girls, to everyone. This was such a lovely tribute. I could not have asked for a better tribute outside of one where she was still with us. I had that. I thought this was okay. My actual thoughts on this finale is I would have switched the talent show with the pageant. The pageant was the first challenge from season 1. I would have had them flipped, and I think that would have made narrative sense to flip them, especially because pageants are not that pageants aren't big in US, but for our Asian and Slasian sisters, they are much more serious. It is a much bigger thing. It is it is a very well-known thing for them in their culture and how they express, drag and beauty and all that fun stuff. So I really would have loved to have that here. I really thought it should have been Arizona versus Brigading for the finale. Those were the two people who I was the most excited about, and whose talent shows really made me go like, that's a talent show. Gosh damn. So I was a little brokenhearted to see that Arizona didn't make it. She is absolutely incredible, and I hope she still doesn't feel that everything, that she's still an undeserved runner-up, or she's not as talented as Marina or Kiana. She really I really hope she feels super proud of this season. And I had been smitten with Brigading since episode 1, so to see someone who was a mid-out on her season kind of come back, crush it, and it like prove like I'm a professional. She's a star. I'm so happy that she won. I could not have been happier. But all of them, if Suki or Venus won, I would have been happy, because this was a fantastic season, and this was a fantastic cap to end the entire amazing season.
Can I get an MA?
MA.
I want to say that Arizona Brandy took my heart the way Saphira Shea Coulee took my heart. I have a really interesting relationship with the way Arizona Brandy captured innocence, vulnerability, a childlike joy, and a love of just being there. Like, I identify the most of any fictional character with Winnie the Pooh, and I don't know, Arizona Brandy has some real big Pooh Bear vibes, and so I am very positive on her. But Kevo, something that no Pooh Bear would ever recognize, you said something that took my breath away. Thank you so much, Kevo, for cutting to that image of Isis Couture. What a legend of Drag Race royalty. But Kevo, when we were watching this episode the first time, you noted that Nymphia is in purple, which is the color wheel opposite of yellow, and how that explores the way she's looking to reimagine who you think Nymphia Wind is, especially as she's judging people. And I would love to know how you felt about this finale, especially as somebody who sees those things when I and my very honey-loving self does not.
Something that's really been noodling my brain since Tori pointed to it and was talking about, we've talked about the pacing of this in many ways felt slightly odd, and I didn't even realize until she said something, but the fact that we didn't see any of the girls backstage, that made this finale feel especially strange to me. You spend this entire season being part of this world with them, going into the workroom with them every single day. There's always that excitement of Elimination Day and everyone comes reeling in. And we didn't get any of that this episode. The only bits of them we got out of drag in any way or in any way decompressed was the interviews. And that was very weird. It created a sort of distance for me. It made it a little bit more special and polished, I guess, in a way, but it made it a little bit less intimate. And, that's really hitting me as we're talking about this. It didn't take away from the entertainment of it. I loved these girls and thought that they were great. It's always tough for me to say who should win. This probably not a winning move, but we were saying on our coverage of this season so far, which you can check out in our videos, there was such a vulnerability of even Venus that we got to know over the course of this season, and so all 4 of these girls really were so amazing. I loved Suki getting Miss Congeniality, so well deserved, because that was another queen that we were talking about on that coverage, of saying that is so much what she was this season, and to see that get recognized. It's a little weird in terms of, it reminds me of, it was Saphira who got Miss Congeniality.
Why would you bring up the worst moment of my life? The moment I knew she wasn't gonna win.
But exactly, like that feels like the moment you know she's not going to win. So that does something to the process of seeing this. I also love the point of we should have LaFateur is going for Demure tonight. I love the idea of swapping and putting the talent show first, because the fashion portion, all of it was gorgeous and cool, but it was so long and it slowed things down. We kind of needed an excitement and then something to pace ourselves and then excite us again when you drop 2 queens. But so yeah, it's not that it wasn't still an amazing experience. I loved getting to know these queens. And I'm so glad that we decided to do this coverage and explore this branch of the franchise. It's the thing that we love so much about this, is the web of girls that it creates, and getting to know so many more. You know, who knows where they will turn up next, and we can be excited that we got to know them here.
Kevo, you really, really hit exactly what I wanted to ask everyone as their sign-off questions. So, Tori, I don't want you to tell me who doesn't belong here, because every one of these fabulous girls belongs in this finale. But if you could have a 5th girl, no questions, who would you love to see in this finale, and where can they find you to say thanks?
Well, you can find me online at SM Tori. That's Tori with an I. The gals that I would like to see in this the most, you know, I would have loved to have seen Kiana get her remix moment, and I think it would have been really fun to have had her in here as well. That's fine.
Tori, I just think you're so smart. And also, if you want to say anything about any UK girls before you tell us where we can find you.
Oh, well, I told you where you can find me earlier, but you can find me cheering for. Oh, I'm gonna go with Bonnie and Clyde still.
So good. Oh, you've got such great taste. Damn, girl. I can't wait to talk about this damn Yankees revival with you. Oh my God, it's all I can think about. Jonah, tell me, who would you have loved to have seen in this finale? What UK girl do you just want to shout out? And where can we find you?
You can find me places online at Peak Jonah. I would have loved, I'm going to echo, I would have loved to have seen Kiana. I think Kiana was kind of a superstar, especially such a heavy hitter that first episode. Won like 4 mini challenges in a row, so good for you, gal. That was incredible.
I just want to remind everyone that I've won many, many challenges. Lucy LaDuca.
Lucy LaDuca for Slasian 2. And UK girl...
Judging.
Her name's not Scarlett Johansson.
UK girl shout out. Shout out to the young Bella. She was here in the chat with us. She was lovely. She was great. If she tours the US, if you come to the States, girl, you know, come to Brazil, come to the States, we'll come see you. We'll get a drink. I'll buy you a shot, whatever. She's a good time gal. Go send her some love online.
I love that. Kevo, tell me, what UK girl do you want to shout out? What girl would you have loved to have seen in this finale? And where can everybody find you being fabulous? Also, yes, Andrew, that is Marina Summers. You have been gifted.
Well, you said what UK girl would I have wanted to see in this finale, and I guess Chai T. Grande for if she doesn't go far enough in this season of UK 7, we'd love to see her in Slasian Season 2, which Mama Pow hinted at the possibility of. She said, see you next season. We know that that's just probably hopeful, but I am hopeful. Who would I have wanted from actual Slasian to have been in this finale? RuPaul actually showing up instead of having this pre-recorded Disney Parks video that you watch while you're in the queue. Congratulations! It would have
Welcome to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Couldn't even get her to say each person's name with a congratulations in it. Like,
no, it was before the announcement even. That was great. But they reacted very well to it, and it was very sweet of them. But yeah, I'm gonna play wild card and say Yuha. Let's see what she would have done in the finale.
Ooh.
Oh, that's hot. Speaking of so hot, TK, talk to me. I got 3 questions. Where can we find you? Which KEVO, which Slasian Royale girl would you like to see in this finale? And also, because I want to be a Chaos Goblin, which UK girl would you see in this finale?
You can find me at TK Accidental on the socials. I think if she had not been eliminated in traditional old school Drag Race style, Kitty Space would have continued on. I think she was doing really great, and she had one bad episode where she was then in the bottom and then lost in the lip sync. But I think if that had not happened, she would have continued on for quite some time, and I would have loved to have seen her in the finale because she was a look queen. And I think she would have given us a really shattering package at the end. I too want to shout out Nia and Bella, not to be on this show, but I just do want to say that absolutely my favorite girl from this bunch, and will be sorely missed. Will not be the same watching experience without her. Who from UK would I put on here? I just genuinely don't know. The other person was who I would have said was the person that was on there, but is from Down Under, is Ivory Glaze, who I thought was just fantastic, and I hope that we see more of her again at some point. So I'm just gonna stick with that.
I love it. Well, for me,
yeah, I was gonna say you got to answer your own questions.
I know I got to answer my own questions. Good. They're good questions. I wrote them, so. I want to say that I think from Slasian, I don't want to be a copycat, but yeah, I mean, I think you can't spell Slasian Royale without a K. Kiana really captured my imagination. Unfortunately, I feel like the queen I want to signal the hardest is the queen that was eliminated, Young Bella. You know, it was such a pleasure to get to see you and see you dance so many times. It's a rare queen who's in so few episodes but gets to dance so many times, and that's how I'm putting it. Gets to dance. But if you guys want to see me dance, NICO Action, NICO ACTION. If you guys want to hear the music I'm dancing to, NICO Action Music, NICO ACTION MUSIC. You guys can also check out this show at X is for Show, X is for Comics, X is for Podcast, and more. Guys, 3 things. Number 1, please like, comment, and subscribe. That's the most important thing. Number 2, please keep being who you are. But I lied. The most important thing is number 3. Be brave and evolve daily. Who you were yesterday, amazing. Who you are today, incredible. But who you are tomorrow, that's the person we can't wait to see on Drag Race Global All-Stars. So until then, keep being fabulous and Kiana all the way to global.
Bye.
Oh, shut up.